My name is Eric Dimmitt. I'm from Prior Lake, Minnesota. I am a theater major with an English minor. My focus in the arts is theater, particularly theater performance, although I have gotten interest in directing. Might be something that I try out further down the road. We'll see. The school that I went to in Prior Lake, my middle school, elementary school, it was all combined. It was a K through 8th grade school, and they would always do little Christmas pageants, some kind of a spring musical, stuff like that, but you really couldn't do them until you were in middle school. It was a middle school musical. I went to a smaller private school, so they didn't have big theatrical productions in that sense. So when I was younger in elementary school, I would go to these musicals and I'd be like, I wish I could do that. I was always really upset when I couldn't actually do it. And we're finally able to do it my 7th grade year. We did Alice in Wonderland. And I knew right away the part that I wanted to be the March Hare, wanted to do this, went, auditioned, got into it, and just loved every second of it, kept on wanting to do it, was in every production that I could be in high school, and just fell in love. I definitely am most drawn to, I would say, Shakespeare is the one that really, really interests me and really grabs me. Not super interested in musicals. And part of that isn't even so much that I am humbugging musicals. I'm just not a super musically inclined person. So it's not something that I see myself being super successful at. So I kind of just thought, well, I'll do them in high school when you can do them every year. But beyond that, it's not something I'm going to put a whole ton of effort into. But the Shakespeare, love it. It's been around for forever. Shakespeare, writing it, just understood so many things that are still relevant to just being a human to this day, and just is magnificent, and the text itself is a piece of art. It's wonderful. This past fall, we did A Midsummer Night's Dream, a Shakespeare play, and I was able to do the role of Oberon, the Fairy King. Just fantastic. Wonderful, wonderful piece. Just this flowery, floral language, but just such a strong, strong character. So kind of a balance of this beautiful, poetic verse with this strong, powerful figure. And costumes set were all incredible. I got this gigantic cape coat thing that I was just twirling around the place, had makeup and hair just going really crazy, looked like a combination of David Bowie and Kiss. It was so much fun. I had these claws I was playing around with. Magnificent. Being in Morris, the university itself is very liberal, but the surrounding community, much more conservative. So that really affects the kind of theater that we can do, or that we get away with, or might even challenge us into doing something that might not necessarily be accepted by the surrounding community. But then it's also, apart from just the theater that we can do, it's really affected the opportunities given to us as theater students. Morris does not by any means have the biggest theater department, so for the most part, you tend to see a lot of the same actors up on the stage, but it really builds a sense of community within that department, because you are, for the most part, working with the same people for every show, maybe in different capacities, but for the most part, you're seeing all the same faces, and that really is really nice to help you grow in that sense. You're working with people who know how you work and know how to bounce off of a way you're going to deliver a line, are going to anticipate the way they're going to deliver a line. So that's really cool. Just because I'm getting a theater major doesn't mean that the only future ahead for me is restricted to acting and the limitations that would bring with it. A lot of people might discourage you from going into, and even not even just theater, but any of the arts, might discourage it, saying there's not going to be a future for that, like there's nothing ahead of you in that direction. And that's just not true. I mean, the lessons you learn with any field, even outside of the arts, they're gonna carry over. They're gonna transfer to all of the other departments and fields that there are. And all I'm gonna say is find what it is that you are passionate about. And even if that's not what you're strictly doing in your future, you're gonna be able to find elements of that in whatever you're doing. And that's what you hold on to.
Visit pioneer.org/postcards to catch up on missed episodes and to find out more about your favorite segments. This program on Pioneer Public Television is funded by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund with money from the vote of the people of Minnesota on November 4th, 2008. Additional support provided by Mark and Margaret Yakel-Julien in honor of Shalom Hill Farm, a nonprofit rural education retreat center in a beautiful prairie setting near Windham in southwestern Minnesota. ShalomHillFarm.org. The Arrowwood Resort and Conference Center, your ideal choice for Minnesota resorts, offering luxury townhomes, 18 holes of golf, Darling Reflections Spa, Big Splash Water Park, and much more. Alexandria, Minnesota. Explore hundreds of lakes, trails, and attractions for a great vacation or a place to hold an event. ExploreAlex.com. Tri-State Brain and Spine Institute, with locations in Alexandria, Edina, Crookston, and Maple Grove. Doctors dedicated to evaluating and treating all types of brain and spine problems, no matter how complex.